Right, guys, we are back. From our. So we had to check the system a bit. We had to look for bigger potatoes. And this actually got them from my wife's kitchen. But now we are dealing with probability. So we had to look for markers. I hope these are still writing. Yes, these are good. Right. So basically, what is probability? Well, in essence, probability is basically the likelihood of something happening. It's, in other words, some they call it chance. What's the chance of something happening? For example, let's take a die. A die is, as they call it, a die is a 1, is a 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6. So what's the probability that if you are to roll a dice, you get a 6? What's the probability P that if you roll it, you get maybe a 3, you get a 2? So it's all about chance. Oh, it's not betting or gambling. Someone might say so, but basically, what is the likelihood of that thing happening? So probabilities, you talk about the outcome. So in this case, if you are to throw a die, the 6 is the outcome, this one is the outcome, this is the outcome. So you're talking of the number of the outcome over the total possible outcome, right? So for example, a dice is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possible outcomes. So if you are to throw a dice, you get a 1, so you get 1. So the probability is 1 over 6. The probability of you getting a 6 if you roll it once, well, again, it's still 1 over 6, because there's only 1, 2. So probability. Let me make it a bit more visual. Credit goes to my wife's kitchen for this one. So let's say I have this. It's a lunchbox. I have 2 tomatoes. I have an apple. I think my small potatoes are now, and I have 3 potatoes. So now the question is that what is the probability that if I'm to pick this thing randomly without looking, what's the probability that I pick an apple? So that's the chance. What's the probability that I pick an apple? So when you are calculating this probability, let's call it prob apple. Firstly, most important, you have to be able to know the total possible outcomes. So in this lunchbox, there are how many items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 items. So the possible outcome out of all this is 6. We cannot go beyond 6. Why? Because there are 6 items. And now then comes the probability. What is the probability that if I pick at random, that I pick an apple? Again, so we need to know how many apples are in this. So we have 1 apple. So the probability that if we pick at randomly an apple, we only pick 1. So the probability will be 1 over 6. So as a result, the probability is 1 over 6. If you want to get it as a percentage, you multiply it by 100. Again, what's the probability? Let's change it to a potato. What is the probability that if we pick it randomly without looking, that we pick a potato? Again, it doesn't change. We need to start with the total possible outcome, which is 6. There are 6 items in the lunchbox. So the probability of picking a potato is either 1, that's the one possible outcome, 2, that's another possible outcome, and 3, that's another possible outcome. So as a result, number of outcomes here will be 3. The total will be everything that is within the lunchbox. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as a result, the probability of picking a potato is 6/3. If you reduce that to its lowest terms, that's 1/2. And to finish it off, the probability of picking a tomato, I'm running out of space here. I was just thinking of reaping the potatoes today, but now I'm doing a maths lesson, which of course I'm good at. Right, probability of a tomato. Right, so again, the equation probability is the outcome over the total possible. In our case, 6 is the total possible outcome here. So the probability of picking a tomato, the total possible outcome is 6. And then now going into our lunch here with 1, 2, 3 with 6 items, the probability of us picking a tomato, what is the probability? We may pick a tomato once, that's 1. Let's put it here. We can pick a potato twice, second time 2, and there are also no other tomatoes. So the probability of picking a tomato is 1, 2. So it's going to be 2 out of 6 or over 6, which is going to be 1/3. If you multiply it by 100, you get something like 33.3%. That's the probability of you picking a tomato. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson on probability. I hope you can see probability. So what's the probability that you're going to subscribe to my channel? I'm just trying to think, but the total possible, I think it's something like 7 billion. Sorry, 7 billion possible subscribers. And how many of you are going to actually subscribe? That's the question. So please subscribe to my channel and have a good day. Cheers.